All right, so this video is to help get you started on the composite area with addition and subtraction assignment. So with composite area, we're either adding polygons together or we're subtracting polygons from each other. So looking at number 2, we have a rectangle here with a semicircle attached to it. Semicircle is just another word for half of a circle. So what I'm going to have to do is find the area of the rectangle and the area of the half circle and then add them together. So I'm going to start with the rectangle. I know my formula for area of a rectangle is base times height. So I'm going to plug in A equals, the base of the rectangle is 7 and the height is 11. So 7 times 11, and we know that that equals 77. So I know that this part of my image is 77. Now I need to do the half circle. We don't have a formula for half of a circle. We only have a formula for a whole circle. So what we're going to have to remember to do is divide it in half at the end. So the formula for area of a circle is pi r squared. So remember, for pi, we're going to plug in 3.14. Now I need the radius. So on this picture, they give me all the way across the circle. So all the way across is diameter. Radius is going to be halfway across. So half of 6 would be 3. So I'm going to use 3 here. Be very careful because you're not always going to use the numbers they give you. So I'm going to follow order of operations and do my exponents first. So I'm bringing down the 3.14. 3 squared means 3 times 3, which is 9. Now all I have to do is multiply 3.14 times 9. So I'll give you a second to multiply that out or type it in your calculator. And that will give you the answer for the semicircle. So let me go ahead and figure that out for you. So we have 3.14 times 9. So we would get 28.26. Okay, but that's the area of the entire circle. So remember, we don't have an entire circle here. We have half of a circle. So I need to divide this by 2. So if I divide that by 2, I'm going to get 14.13 for the area of my semicircle. Now when we look at this picture, these two polygons are being added together. So that's what we need to do with these areas. We need to add 77. I'm going to line up my decimals, plus 14.13. And I would get 91.13 for my final answer. Okay, so this was number 2 on the composite area assignment. Let's look at number 4. Number 4, it looks like we have a rectangle and a triangle. So I'm going to draw a dotted line to separate these. So I have a triangle on top and a rectangle on the bottom. So I'm first going to start by finding the area of the rectangle. I know my formula is base times height. So area equals, the base is 13, the height is 4. So if I do 13 times 4, I get 52. So that's the area of this lower portion, just the rectangle part. Now I need to do the triangle. The formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So if you notice, the base of this triangle here is the same length as the base of the rectangle. So I'm going to plug in 13 for the base. And then the height, they draw for us off to this side. So the height, which would be right here, is 6. So I'm going to plug that in for H. Okay. So now I have to multiply. Remember, you can multiply in any order. I think it's easier to do half of 6 than it is to do half of 13. So that's what I'm going to do. 1/2 times 6 is 3. So now all I have to do is 3 times 13. And I get 39. So now I have the area of the triangle. Remember, these were being added together. So what I'm going to do is 52 plus 39 and I get 91. So the total area of that image is 91. Okay, let's move on to some subtraction. So as you notice on number 9, we have a rectangle and a triangle, but this time the directions say to just find the area of the shaded portion. So what they did here is they had a rectangle and then they cut out a triangle. So we're still going to find the area of both of those, but we're going to subtract the triangle from the rectangle at the end. So I'm going to start with the area of my rectangle. Rectangle formula is area equals base times height. We can see the base of the rectangle is 10 and the height is 6. 10 times 6 is 60. So the area of my rectangle is 60. Now I need to do the triangle. My formula is area equals 1/2 base times height. If we look at the picture, it says the base of our triangle is 7. And now we need to figure out what the height is. So you need to notice the height goes straight up and down here, and that is the same length as the height of the rectangle. So we're going to plug in 6 for the height. So on this one, I'm going to multiply. I'm going to do half of 6 because I think that's easier. Half of 6 is 3. Now all I have to do is 3 times 7, which is 21. So I found the area of both parts, but remember on this one, we cut out the triangle. So that's what we need to do to get our final answer. We need to take our rectangle, which was 60, and cut out or subtract the triangle. So when I do that, I get the area of the remaining part to be 39. That was number 9. Let's look at one more. The last one we're going to look at is number 12. So on number 12, they give us a circle and a triangle. And once again, they want us to find the area of the shaded region. And I forgot to color this one. So they want us to find the area of just this shaded part. Okay, so what they did is they had this circle and then they cut out that triangle. So let's start by finding the area of the circle. My area formula for a circle is pi times the radius squared. For pi, I'm going to plug in 3.14. Now I need to know the radius. All they give me on this one is all the way across is 16. Remember that all the way across represents the diameter. I don't have diameter in my formula. I need to know the radius. So the radius would just be half of this length. So half of that would be 8. So the radius is 8. Now I need to solve this. So starting with my exponents, 8 squared means 8 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Then I need to do 3.14 times 64. And I get 200.96. So the circle's area is 200.96. Now I need to do the triangle. So the formula for my triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I need to figure out what the base and the height of the triangle is. The base is easy to see. The base is the same as the diameter of the circle. So I'm going to plug in 16. But the height is a little more difficult to figure out. So we're talking about the height, which would go from here to here. That's half of the diameter. Do you see how that's the same as this length? Okay, so that's technically the radius of the circle. So we're going to plug in 8 for the height. The height of the triangle is the same as the radius of the circle. So now you can multiply in any order. I'm going to do half of 16 is 8. And then 8 times 8 is 64. So that's the area of the triangle. But now I just need to know what the shaded portion is. So we just want this outer circle's area. So we have the whole circle here, and then we have the triangle. What we need to do now is cut out the triangle. So I need to do 200.96 minus the triangle, minus 64. So let's see what that gives us. 136.96 would be our final answer there. Okay, I hope this helped get you started. Make sure you finish the rest of the questions and submit your answers in Canvas.